soft skills is the most important and critical differentiating skills of human versus robots. I said if somebody is talking to me about the business process and he starts in his sentence saying that we should, if I hear the word should, I stop the discussion. If you have the right data, then you can start using AI to unlock the value of your business and of your data.
This video is brought to you by us, SCMDOJO. We provide awesome courses, guides, best practices for supply chain community.
Hi folks, welcome to one more episode of the Supply Chain Show. As you know, we bring a lot of hot topics, the topics which is needed for today's supply chain professional. So today we're going to talk about what are the supply chain skills needed for the digital world, or we call it digital competencies, because everyone talking about supply chain digital transformation, there's a lot of tools, AI, big data and all that, but are we preparing people for it? Or do people have the right skill to use the tool, to engage with the tool, to adopt the tool so people can benefit from it? To talk about this hot topic, we have one of the brightest mind in the world right now. Essam is an expert, a supply chain expert. He's an expert in digital transformation. He's a public speaker. He is a thought leader. Essam, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Right.
Nice meeting you.
Good. So quickly, just about your introduction, your past experience, so people know what you do.
Yeah, Essam Elokda. Thanks for the quick intro. I'm a supply chain executive and I'm a public speaking coach, besides being a digital transformation expert as well. That's in a very quick nutshell.
Great. Now, the topic was today's, which is the digital skills, right? Because again, digital transformation, right, is a hot topic. It should be the hot topic. I did a survey on LinkedIn, and I said, what is the main 2023 objective? I gave choices like cost reduction, supply digital transformation, skill development. For obvious reasons, more than 38% people says supply chain digitalization. Now, at SCMDOJO, we have created a supply chain data assessment. It has 6 categories, which tells that you have your right strategy, right people, etc., right? What I found is even I do consulting projects on digitalization, leadership wanted, they are more focused on technology part, and they almost forget there is a people who actually use the technology. So I have a question in 2 parts. First, why they should focus on the people part. So once they focus, what exactly they focus on? So please.
No, thank you for raising this. I think it's a very hot topic, actually. So simply, the digital transformation, it has 4 pillars. It has the people, which is the core of it, the most important and the most underrated. And it has data, and it has processes, and it has technology. The 4th one is the highest part taking all over the place. It's been everywhere. Everybody's talking about the technology, AI, blockchain, XYZ. And it's happening for a reason, because this is where the digital companies are making money. But unfortunately, most of the people forget that the core of this is the human factor of it. And that's where the critical part of focusing on the people and to making sure that the people are in the center of the digital transformation. Because simply, it's as follows. You can get the best technology. You can clean your data. You can standardize your process. If you didn't get the buy-in from the people, you will never do a transformation. Simply, the people is not playing a role. They are the hero of the digital transformation. In other words, I would say that even people, they can be defined from different, depending on their roles. For the leadership, like the board of a company, have totally different role than the people on the ground. So the people in the board has to be very, very, very strong believers that the digital transformation is not an option anymore. It is a must-do to survive for a company. And it's not for a pride moment that we want to have this technology to claim that we're having it. It's not the case. You need to have the right technology which fit the purpose of your company. And the people on ground, who are the people doing the real work, those people, they need to be, again, believers, but from a different perspective. They need, first of all, to remove the fear that robots are replacing human. This will never, ever happen. And we're going to discuss this.
No, good point. You mentioned very nicely that you can have the best technology, you can clean the data. If you don't have people buying in, right, it will not going to work, right? And it's not an option anymore, right? Which is, I'll discuss later. So this people buying in is associated with the change management part.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think the change management you can have, there's a various change management methodologies like ADGAR, awareness, design, knowledge, ability, reinforcement. So you have to go through some level of change management. But one thing I realized, the best way to do technological change management is starting upskilling people early. Right. So with this upskilling people early, what would be the three, let's call it, basic areas you would suggest being an expert that the leader should focus on? Because if they don't upskill early, they won't be buying it. Would you agree?
No, I agree.
Right.
I totally
okay.
agree.
So that needs to happen. Right. If that needs to happen, then where they should start and what are the, let's call it, three high-level competencies that you should focus on? When I say competency means if I want to train a supply chain professional, I'm going to say, okay, learn demand planning, learn about modern warehousing, learn about sourcing, learn about MPS, blah, 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 the technical one. But the technical competencies for the digital transformation to upskill the people is different.
Yeah.
What are they?
Okay, thank you. So I'll start with the soft skills.
Okay.
So the soft skills is the most important and critical differentiating skills of human versus robots. Robots can do complicated calculations.
Yeah.
They can process a huge amount of data, but they can never innovate. They can never create stuff which is coming from our brain, which is the miracle we have in our body. Yeah? So first of all are the soft skills related to the communication skills. And the second part related to this is related to the data, is how to use data rather than consuming the data. You have to use the data. Same goes with the prompting. As we talk now, we have a lot of buzz around ChatGPT and all the other AI-enabled applications. Those humans that they don't have this skill will be replaced, but not with robots. They will be replaced with other humans whom can use the AI. So we need to upgrade the skills. We need to unlearn the old skills so we have the space to learn the new skills.
Yeah.
So learn and unlearn and relearn, and know how to use the data rather than consuming the data.
Yeah.
And I would say the third one is to be very resilient in the way you're thinking and with the technology taking place at the moment.
Right. I think before we started the chat, when we were driving up, we discussed that, and I have a videos on this, that you cannot digitalize unless you standardize.
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Again, we talking about all prerequisites of it, not the business case that you spent $500,000 on software or whatever. Is this the process standardization? So in my experience, the process standardization is most of it is in people's head. They do it, they just do it naturally. They do the same way. A lot of people use 50% of the functionality of ERP. Most of the stuff done in Excel or outside. And we can't blame for that because this is how the culture has been in most companies has been developed. And I'm talking about big companies or even small companies, right? So before we go and purchase any big tech or software tool, what is your recommendation on this process standardization which is sitting in people's mind?
Yeah, I always have a say. I'm very famous about of it because I said if somebody is talking to me about the business process, and he start in his sentence saying that we should, if I hear the word should, I stop the discussion. I need to know what's happening, not what should happen. And that's because there's a huge gap between what should happen and what's happening on the ground. And if you have this gap, don't touch digitalization. Fix this. You don't reach the perfect state, but at least reach the level of digital maturity of a process that it is standard enough to be taken over by an automation, either it's an RPA or XYZ, and then it is the right level.
Give an example. I think that's a very important thought which you just mentioned. It's a great thought. An example would be nice. Just give it.
Yeah, an example. If we talk for any industry, let's talk about restaurant industry. F&B. And then if the process is for a person who would like to order, let's say, a sandwich online, that somebody is saying that the process that he should do this, and then he should open the screen, and then he should find the screen which is giving him the menu and the option. It shouldn't be. It's not should. Either it's there or not there. So it's about what's exactly over there. So you can apply it in any process. If I'm telling you how to apply for a visa, if I tell you that you should find a window, and then if you find it good, no. If I find it is there. It has to be there. So first thing is like breaking down the process, making sure that the process is clear, it's clean, and it can be followed seamlessly for any normal person. If this is standardized and it is written and it can be applied, there will be issues, then it can be fixed. Then this process is ready to be automated or to be digitalized. If it's not, we have a lot of should, but you know what, we'll do this, but most of the people cannot do it because they have a problem X, Y, Z, and problems are there. As you just mentioned, it's in the small and the big companies, processes are not perfect. It doesn't not need to be perfect, but it needs at least to be having the certain level of maturity that you can fix it. And then you take it to the next level. We don't run before you crawl.
Yeah.
Simply, yeah.
Now, so we identified the change management part, we identified the people part, the 3 skills you mentioned, that was great. We were talking about the maturity, and as you said, you have to walk before you run, and then you run and you run fast. Now, so when we do digital transformation, people are very much focused on should focus on 2 things. Either driving a better customer experience, which could be, better information availability, to improve your, on-time delivery, better quotation, RFP, whatever, right? Or they should focus on driving internal efficiencies, and they should focus on driving internal efficiencies. Ideally, they should do both, right? Okay. So if the digitalization is done based on external process improvement or customer-focused efficiencies, life is good, everybody likes it. But as soon as you start mentioning that we can improve something or something repetitive, internally, people start getting worried that, for example, I did a project on RPA. It was a very simple example that my people, don't mention the company, was basically spending 50 hours a week just because the ETA of the container changes, right? They're going to all the shipping website, putting the bill of lading, downloading it, and then finding a new ETA, right? And then putting it to an email and sending every week. 50 hours, right? That's just dumb, right? I think we should go and we put the right RPA program, which goes to take the bill of lading from your ERP system, put it to the shipping website, get over the captcha thing, right? Put it back, and then because the RPA, you can create a user, which is a bot, and put it back.
Yeah.
Now you save 50 hours. And the biggest resistance I have is this, not from anybody else, is my people.
Yes.
And I'm saying, guys, there's nothing to worry about. Essentially, I'm saving you 50 hours, so you do something better. So, because of your experience, I just want to put people's mind into rest. That they shouldn't resist the internal efficiencies. What do you think?
No, thank you. I think it's a critical point, yeah? And I'm not blaming the people. Because by human will try to save their back, yeah? They were trying to survive. They were trying to keep their jobs. I think there are 2 problems here, 2 reasons actually. First reason is, unfortunately, how the technology companies are framing the technology enablers to be more into not only cost efficient, but even to decrease the number of people. Like they said, you decrease 10 people who's doing this job. That's absolutely the wrong positioning. And it's 80% of, I'd say more even than 90% of the companies are taking it from this angle. So the first thing you create is you create resistance in the organization. And this is what I said, that the people, they have the leaders and you have the people working on ground. Those are the real heroes of digital transformation. If they don't have the belief that this is helping them to do their job, they will resist it. And you cannot blame them because they are securing their job. So the first way to reposition this is, and it is coupled with the second point, which is the unlearning and the relearning of skills. I'll give a simple example for the people that used to be postmen, that they used to get the mails and go and drop it somewhere. Yeah, if they cannot move now to be like working for a courier company using the scanner and QR code, and then they lose their job. So it's their responsibility to lose their job. So I take it from 2 angles. Angle from the leaders, and the other angle is from ourselves being working. If you reject to upskill yourself, to unlearn the old skills, and to relearn or to learn a new skill, then it's your choice to leave this industry and to go to somewhere. Because industry will develop. And the revolution is continuous. It will not stop. So we need to upgrade our skills.
Upgrade skills.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So at SCMDOJO, my first course is supply chain digitalization, right? And actually, I exactly talked about, right, what digitalization means, because there's a difference between digitization, or digitalization and digital transformation. Everybody uses this synonymously. It's not synonymous. You can check my course playlist and I'm telling you why I'm telling you that, right? So the digitalization is very different from digital transformation, right? Because the value proposition is different. Now, with that, so what happening is, so we have the assessment as SCMDOJO, we have a course. Okay, so this is what you can use to upskill yourself. Now, what's happening with that is, I think everybody should go through this training, understand the change management part.
Yeah.
Now, where I'm heading is this, let's talk into the future. Right? So when we talk about, again, there's a big brand say, when they're hiring people, they say, we need this certification. Now, the universities have start focusing on data science and all this. So the young graduates who are coming in, right, are more ready than the ones who are already in the field. As you know, half of the supply chain people end up in supply chain So there's a lot to learn. They have to learn supply chain.
Yes.
They have to learn data systems. So looking future, right? And you say, okay, if you want to be in this supply chain field, right? What would be the ideal, let's call it, supply chain person look like in your time?
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, the mix of skills will differ. I would say that the soft skills will have bigger portion than the technical skills.
Right.
The technical skills, as we just mentioned, like how to use Excel, how to create formulas, how to do calculations, all this have to be left out. So this will decrease big time. And what will increase? To be emotional intelligence. It will be creativity, it will be resilience, it will be prompting, how to prompt, how to make use of the AI, how to direct the AI to serve your purpose. So it will be more about the soft skill. The communication skill is one of the top needed skills and missed skills and underrated skills. So I would say communication is extremely important skill as well.
And this whole ChatGPT, I think, is scaremongering. Let me tell you why. Because ChatGPT essentially uses all the data from the available web. That's what the only thing it does. And there is a time limit. I think recently it's got trained until 2020 data. So if you ask anything in the region, you will not get out of it. So the enterprise, I mean, the content writer and the blog writer can use it because they want ChatGPT, but for supply chain people, it's still no good. You can do something. We have a blog on that. You can use for customer. But the thing is, to really use the AI, you have to use your company information and company data to train the AI to be useful. And I think this is where our supply chain people can play a big part.
Huge.
But as you said,
huge. It's a huge part. So actually, and this is what I said, like when we've been chatting before we start the filming, I've been using my data since 1999. Actually. Because I've been exposed to the AI in 1999. And I'm telling you that if you have the right data, and you have the data richness, and data richness are two factors, data completion and data accuracy. The third pillar is the data granularity, a bit complicated technically, but if you have the right data, then you can start using AI to unlock the value of your business and of your data. That's something that it needs to happen. So the supply chain guys need to start learning how to use the data, how to clean the data, and how to make use of it. But instead of consuming the data and manipulating the data and processing the data, leave this to the AI, and your brain should be using this kind of tool.
Good. So, I mean, now we're moving to the last third of the interview. So, I want to focus on, I want to take the scale down. We started from high, we talk about strategy, we talk about skills, now I want to go a bit more granular. In general, supply chain is a word which encompasses procurement, distribution, transportation, all of this, right? So, this all comes under the umbrella of a supply chain. I hate those posts and blogs when people say procurement versus supply chain. That's frankly bullshit, because procurement is part of supply chain. Yeah, I said it on record now. So, but I feel, and again, it's my feeling without any scientific research I've done so far, that I think AI has a bigger role to play in the supply chain soft functions where we have more data rather than the tracking and tracing in the Internet of Things, i.e. planning and the procurement contract, right? On the like bidding and all this. So, what do you feel the same? What basically my question is, do you think any sub function of the supply chain has a more will get more benefited rather than, let's call it, transportation?
Yeah. So since it's a feeling, let me share my feelings.
Yes.
Okay. So mine is not only feeling; it's like some practice as well. Because I did manufacturing. I did most of them. Let me keep it simple. In anything in life, not only supply chain. Again, if you have the data and you have the right engine to process it, you get the best. The first thing I did with the AI was in 1999. The project, it was for a popcorn factory. To decide if the kernels will be popping as a popcorn or not for a production line. So we're looking for physical criteria, the weight of the kernel, density, the color, the crop when it was collected, to see if these factors are really correlated to make the kernel pop or not. So this is one example. The other example, in next year, I was doing for a white goods manufacturing company. So it's for optimization of the planning of the piercing piston. And then I did afterwards for the cheese factory, where I was doing to improve the spreadability of the cheese. And I'm telling you, I use even in my personal life. So I can relate when I'm speeding. Actually, it's many things. You have the data, then you use it. And the word which is saying that data is the new oil is absolutely right. For two factors. First thing,
I said it.
You said it as well. Okay, I don't know. And because first of all, there's huge value into it. Whomever is having the data. And the second part is that it is as good as it's clean to be used.
Yeah.
So you cannot get crude oil and put it in your car. Car will stuck. You cannot put it and pack the stuff with it.
Yeah.
You need to refine the crude oil, turn it into wax to be used, turn it into plastic bags if needed. And now we shouldn't do this because of the sustainability. But I'm saying that the implementation of it as a fuel for airplanes, you cannot use the crude oil, so you cannot use the crude data as well. Raw data cannot be used if it's not clean enough. So everywhere, not only supply chain.
Slightly controversial question.
Please.
Right, controversial question. The senior leaders of supply chain, the CSOs, the CPOs, the COOs, by nature of it, are experienced people in big companies. Okay, when you're experienced people, you've got too many things to look after. Strategically, you just do not have time to upskill yourself, to understand the granularity of it. Of course, you have hired people to help you make better decisions, of course. I personally think our senior leadership in organization really needs to understand a bit more to understand the technological or the welfare of technology and why, again, the skilled people needs to be upgraded. Because like anything in life, take SNOP or anything, because I'm a management research student, you pick any management research, failure factors of Six Sigma, failure factors of supply, SNOP in supply chain, failure factors of any management theory. The top three always will be executive sponsorship. I can guarantee you that. You pick any research paper, top three for any management theory being unsuccessful, lack of executive sponsorship. And I feel, again, not a feel, I observe, the lack of executive sponsorship comes because they do not understand. Right? So how, because you are executive yourself. First of all, do you agree with me? You don't have to agree with me. Right?
I agree for a certain extent, for sure.
Yeah. Right, okay. So thank you for that. So if you agree, then how we can help those executives to basically, get into the game so they can make a decision, or also tell which part you don't agree.
Well, I'll tell you. So it's not about agreeing or not agreeing. It's about how you position. So I'll take it one step back.
Okay.
Like you have two types of businesses.
Yeah.
You have the digital native companies.
Yeah.
And you have the normal 80% of the companies in the world, they are non-digital native.
Yes.
Okay, like any business which started a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they may be huge business, but they are not digitally native.
Yeah.
The digital native company, they don't have any of this problem because they have been born.
The baggage is not there, right?
Yeah, it started as it was a digital native guy who started this thing, and the digital have turned to be a business. If you look at Amazon, it was a digital, then it turned into to be a business, and then it exploded. Yeah. If you go to the other normal classical industries, you'll find that, as you said, that the experts on the board, they are huge, competitive in terms of the business.
They know everything about industry, verticals, everything.
Absolutely marvelous. But with the again the ability to unlearn and relearn, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's where it happened, and that's where when digital transformation came into discussion for approvals for capex and stuff like this, it cannot be dealt as normal
business
case. Yeah.
So this is very good point, right? And again, I'll say the question, and you tell me what you think. If you are doing a normal business case where you're putting an ROI, a number of 2 years or 18 months on the investment, you probably business case never gonna make sense. You have to see the bigger picture of it. It is almost a Kodak versus VHS kind of thing. That if you don't do it, you will become a dinosaur and you will die, right? Forget about the ROI. What do you think?
I would say yes, with a different way. The digital investments is not about cost saving; it's about value creation.
Great part. Digital procurement is about value creation. Great part. You also mentioned, which is the last question I have, and I'll take your final thoughts. Is 80% of business are non-digital native companies. They have this challenge of the classical mindset. Very, very smart people, know the industry, work hard. They are market leaders. They're very successful. Given the fact, right, the value creation part is important. And it's almost like a big Titanic, right? It's very, very slow to move. Again, I'm not going to name any, but the people who are listening and they work for big companies or even meeting companies, they know it's a big elephant, very slow to move, right? A big ship. What are the top 3 tips you can give to make this, turning the big Titanic a bit faster?
Okay, so I would say that it has not. Okay, let me put it this way. As you said, if it's a big Titanic, it cannot turn fast, otherwise it will tilt.
Okay.
Yeah?
Right.
So first of all, you need to pick the right speed. And the speed should be relevant to the purpose. And the purpose should be much driven by the consumer. So if it is a company which is having providing service,
Right.
so they should look at their clients.
Yeah.
And the digital transformation should start from the client.
Yeah.
As I was giving the example for a restaurant thing chain, so you see what the client is looking for. They are ordering sandwich. You do the personalization.
Yeah.
If you need to pull the data, what the guy is ordering, when he's ordering, family size, all this thing. If it's helping the purpose, pull the data and utilize it. Give the right promotion to this client or to this customer. So, first of all, I would say it's not about how fast it is, but how digital transformation is meeting or it's meeting the purpose, or it is achieving the purpose of it.
And that will remind
That
the speed of the dynamic.
exactly, that will remind you need to do faster in certain areas,
Yes.
like maybe
But not
financials,
not
because you have
about-
some problems and you have leakage.
Maybe more customer
Yeah.
service, more output.
Yeah, with the example you just gave, because if you look at the skill level of people working in certain functions, like you see that the planning are much skilled than maybe the people working on the line, the production line, which is normal. But then the change management for those people who are creating the product, which is very critical, will be different than the people doing
Great.
it.
Great.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Final advice. Anything which I have maybe not covered in the whole Q&A, you said, okay, I want to say this to people.
No, I think thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be with you. Actually, I'm very happy to be with your audience. I think it's a great start. It's just the start, as I said. Perhaps we'll have another session for a different, very interesting topic soon.
Yes, and I'll probably hinge him down to do one more course for me when he's in Dubai. It's been a pleasure, man. It's been a
Pleasure as
pleasure.
well. Thank you.
I mean, I learn a lot, and I think you expanded my thought process,
Thank
even
you.
though I'm a student of the same field. And I'm sure the audience would have benefit. And guys, this is what we do at SCMDOJO. We bring the expert like Essam, which is hard to catch him, and I can assure you that, because he's a very busy person. He's a global speaker. He's just leaving to one more conference later on. By how people contact you?
People can connect me. The best thing is through LinkedIn,
Through LinkedIn.
and I will definitely reply within 24 hours.
So Essam, just tell your URL.
I'll share it with
Share
you.
with me, and
It's,
it will be in the description.
I'll share the QR code as well.
Exactly, great. I mean, I'm connected with you, so I'll put the Essam's LinkedIn profile in the description.
Yeah, it could be in the caption. It's LinkedIn and it's /Essam Elokda.
Exactly. So it's in the description. You get it up, and hope you like what we're doing. Thank you for watching. And as we say, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Take it, keep it simple, keep it real. Ciao.
Thank you.